Good morning, everybody. I know you're wondering up until the last minute, where the hell's Mitch? Long story. But I'm here, and welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. It's Hump Day, Wednesday, the 24th of September. See, Kiltz's class is probably not let out yet. Let me take a look. Nope, they're still going strong over there. Kiltz is reading from some book. We're going to be a while, my friends. But while they're busy pontificating over there, we're going to drink it if we got it. And hopefully we got it. All 32 of us. Wow. That was my first sip this morning. Tried to make a little change this morning. I actually slept in an extra half hour. I didn't do my leucine in advance. I waited until right now to take my first sip of coffee. Oh, wow. We're going to wait. We're going to wait, folks. Well, they did the winner. They did the winner, so let's see. Yeah. Carnivore sneaker artist. Okay, I've heard of that name. I've heard of that name. So they're going to be saying goodbye over there, and I'm going to be saying hello over here. Here we are. I think it's going to be a strange morning. I'll warn you in advance. It's one of those mornings where I think I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to give it a name. I want to name a new syndrome, a new condition. Maybe it'll be maybe it'll go down in the medical annals. I always like that word, the annals of history. Which anal are you talking about? I was suffering this morning. Last night I said to myself, Mitch, of course I said, what? I said, Mitch, what? You need to make some changes. You're suffering, and this is when I gave it a name. You're suffering from carnivore information overload. I said, what the hell is that? Carnivore information overload. CIO. CIO. A nice Italian sounding word. CIO. What is carnivore information overload, you say? It's what my life has become. It's my every waking thought, it seems. It's everything I watch on YouTube. And the irony of it is, here's the irony. And also, I think the problem that may be created for so many of us who are suffering from carnivore information overload is that none of us can be sure or have any real proof other than anecdotal evidence that virtually anything that we think we've learned is actually a proven, indisputable fact. And that, as a thinking man, that kind of makes me take pause. Kills and I discuss this all the time, which is why he's going through the conundrum that he is right now, trying to reconcile his higher CAC score. And when we get right down to it, we realize there's no way really to prove this stuff. And I've talked about this. So you think you're doing all the right things, like having morning coffee with Mitch, listening to my take on carnivore, what I'm trying to practice, and hopefully realizing that I have no proof that I'm not missing something important, that everything I'm doing is important, that nothing I'm doing is really hurting me. There's no proof. There's no proof that cholesterol causes heart disease. There's no proof of anything. There's no proof, really, that sugar and seed oils are going to kill you. There are theories and hypotheses, and they abound wildly. And it seems like, at least for me, when I observe, now I'm not trying to bring a bummer to this. I'm just trying to bring a little reality back to Earth. You know, we're all hanging up there on balloons. Maybe let some air out of the balloons and let us sink back down. Get our feet on the ground again. Reality. And this was just hit home with me over the past few days. Yesterday, I was just tired. I apologize. I was just so tired. You ever get so tired that you can't even focus anymore? Your eyes just... And when I ended the live stream, I said, what the hell happened to me? Did I have a TIA, another mini stroke? Is something? No, because it came and went. It was just tired. I went and I took a nap. I slept for about an hour and a half. I evidently hadn't had enough sleep the night before. And I literally went like a freight train for the rest of the day. And I decided to make a change last night. I said, I need more sleep. Need to get more sleep. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep killing myself. Immersing myself morning till night in carnivore stuff, watching carnivore stuff, thinking about carnivore stuff. I can't imagine that's healthy, when in reality, if you listen to me, if you've ever listened to me, you know that Aaron says, pretty sure seed oils kill it. Yeah, we can all observe that for ourselves, Aaron. But we really don't have absolute, long-term, legitimate, placebo-controlled, randomized controlled trials where there's no doubt that the results aren't just somebody else's opinion. That's the point I was trying to make. I'm not, don't take me literally, please, please. I'm not giving up carnivore. I truly believe it's the best way to be. But any of you have ever tried to convince about anybody else of that, I can understand it. Not everybody shares those beliefs. They're so propagandized. Hiya, Jem says, Lynn Klaus says, sleep heals. We'll be here when you wake up. Well, that's another thing. So anyway, I have to stop watching so much carnivore stuff. I can't stand it anymore. It's the point I'm trying to make. I just can't take it. I can't take it. I tried to watch Kills a Little this morning. I could. He had a great guest, smart woman. Admire her. Doctor, PhD, radiologist, very accomplished. And as I sat there and listened to her rattle off her daily routine. Did you hear that? Her daily routine. I drink 3 liters of water a day. I take my first batch, I mix a teaspoonful of apple cider vinegar. Then I mix this in, and I put that in. I put the other thing in, and then the kitchen sink in there. And then I go out and grind a little bit of steel off my car engine, and I put that in there. And then I drink that on a very precise schedule until... and I take this pill, and I take that pill, and I take the other pill, and I take a D3, and I take a K2, and she kept going on and on and on and on, and I'm saying, sweetie, do you have a full-time personal secretary to keep track of this for you? Every 5 minutes, you have to be distracted so that you can follow your routine according to schedule, and that was even half of it. And then it started at noon, and with that. And I said, is this what, not that I'm chastising her for doing this. This is the prime symptom of carnivore overload syndrome. Different name for the same disease. That's maybe a better one, COS, carnivore overload syndrome. And the irony, at least for me, the irony of it was, do any of us know? Because, for example, she said, well, I take my D3 and my K2 first thing in the morning because, well, that's not what they tell you to do. That's the first time I heard that. I've heard people say, take it with magnesium. I've heard people say, you can't you must take it with food. I've heard other people say, take it before bedtime. What are you supposed to do? Carnivore information overload. Which is right? Which is right for me? I'm so confused. And the more I listened to her, the more I said, I gotta shut this off, and I shut it off. I couldn't take it anymore. I can't keep up with it. And I said to myself, Mitch, what? I said, Mitch, if you can't keep up with it, how the hell can the rest of you keep up with it? And the answer is, our brain starts smoking and it comes out of our ears. And more than likely, we start going, la, 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 I don't want to hear anymore. Don't want to hear anymore. And I think this is a real problem because it's a problem for me. And as far as carnivore reality goes, you know me, I'm a minimalist. I don't even want to know what the blood test results are. And then I watched Ken Burry last night with Dave Feldman talking for an hour and 15 minutes about all that cholesterol stuff. And I hear Ken Burry and Dave Feldman's agreeing on the fact that you have to take advantage of the technology and get these scans. These scans can be the most important thing for you. It's a way to detect illness before it happens, blah, blah, blah. And that's contrary to what I believe. That may be true for a 30-year-old, but I don't think that's true for an 80-year-old. I think once you get to this point, you got to stop worrying about the future and maybe start living your life. Put the playbook down for a minute. Maybe actually open your eyes and enjoy the sunshine and stop worrying about your CAC score, something for which you can do nothing about. So if you're young, yeah, it's great. Take advantage of technology. And hopefully, maybe they have some advice or information from you, for you, that will help you. But if you're 30 years old and you do have a high CAC score, what advice are you really going to get in this world? You're going to listen to your doctor. You're 30 years old. You don't know shit yet. You don't understand what causes wars. You don't understand what causes riots. You don't understand what motivates people, what pushes the people to do the stupid things that they do. You couldn't possibly know that. You think you know it all, but you don't. And who do you listen to? Who do you listen to? You listen to the eminence, the white coats, the stethoscopes, the news broadcasters who tell you about the fact that Donald Trump has elevated autism, which is a serious problem, but Robert F. Kennedy has concluded that Tylenol in pregnant women is causing autism and it must be stopped. I haven't talked to Kiltz about that one yet. I wonder what his opinion is. Has anybody heard it? I haven't heard his opinion yet. And I'm sorry to ignore you as the chat goes by, but I am in one of those moods this morning, and enjoy it while you get it. We chat every day, and I'll answer questions if I see them, but this is one of those things I just want to say, to try to bring my friends, get their feet back on the ground and change the direction so that what happens to them isn't what's happening to me. And that's basically, F it. I can't hear another word. None of it makes any sense. It's too confusing. It's too much to remember. It's too contradictory. I'm not a PhD, MD, anesthesiologist, rocket scientist. I'm an average guy who knows how to think, and what I think is I am in carnivore information overload. Then we have the number of carnivore YouTubers multiplying exponentially. And I'm not making any kind of a judgment here, but I'm just saying it's what's happening. We have carnivore coaches multiplying like rabbits. Like rabbits. Well, why not? Everybody wants to become educated. But they also have vegan coaches out there, vegetarian coaches and pescatarian coaches, and every field's got its coaches and basketball coaches. Are the coaches going to outnumber the coachees and outnumber the players pretty soon? It will in our field. So it's going to get worse. Everybody in my audience is going to be a carnivore coach, telling everybody else how to do it because they're now the experts. And then I'm not a carnivore coach. I don't want to be a carnivore coach. I don't want to tell you step by step how to do things. I want to make you understand why you might want to do things and how I do things. Maybe there's no more place for me in this madhouse. And that's the thought. That's what the thoughts that cross my mind when I wake up in the morning and I say, do I really want to do this again? And yesterday, I don't know what happened to me, but about 45 minutes in, I just kind of got one of those, I can't take this anymore. And I hate to act on those things, and I hate to say I'm going to quit, because I don't. I enjoy it. It's one of the things that I have. I don't have much in my life right now, but I do have this, and I have you guys. I have to laugh at everybody, including myself, including Ken Burry, including my friend Kelsey, including everybody who thinks they know all the answers. The answers are undiscovered at this point, and it will not be discovered in our lifetime. Our current methodology of testing precludes that. You layer on that the level of corruption we have on top of everything else, and self-serving interests of food and drug companies. It is unfixable. What I decided to do for myself was basically try to hide away from it as best I can, gather as much information, try to put it together and see if it makes sense, and pretty much do my own thing. And that resulted in me being here on Carnivore. But I hate to play all the games that everybody else seems to come up with. From morning to night, I want to see what's on YouTube. Again, another mostly new carnivore YouTuber interviewing the same people over and over again, telling the same story with the same audience. So I'm beginning to think maybe all the people who come here don't really come to learn anything. They just come for the party. And sometimes if you look at the chat, you'll realize that that's evident. Because as I'm standing here talking about things that I think are real issues, I'm watching the chat go by, and it's trivia. It's just trivia. It's just, well, let's just talk with each other until Mitch gets done, and then we might listen to him. And then I say, why am I wasting my time? Anthony says KB has been called Muffin Top. Oh, there you go. Rest my case. Rick is telling jokes, and Amy is saying, LOL, Rick. CB Carmack says, I want to call myself a vegan coach, but actually undercover carnivore coach. See, that's funny. CB's got a sense of humor. Anyway, I'm going on, and maybe I've said enough, but let me make the point of all this ranting. The point of all this is, and the question of the morning, and I think this is not something that can be asked trivially. I think you really need, every one of us, me included, what I've been doing, needs to look down deep, be honest with ourselves, and answer this question. And I'm going to use a 4-letter word in this question to emphasize its real importance. How the fuck do I know what is truth or not? And I want you to really think about that. That's why I emphasize it with the F word. It's not, don't trivialize the answer to that question, because you're betting your life and your health on the answer to that question. We all watch contradictory stuff from morning till night. How the F do we know if they know what they're talking about? Because if I was going to follow a doctor, what was her name, Anna, this morning, and do everything that she does, that would take a major lifetime and financial commitment, and I need to hire a full-time employee. And the cavemen, this is the point, the cavemen did not have full-time bookkeepers and personal assistants to be healthy. They didn't have to think about it. They just did it. That's what we need to do. We got to stop listening so much to somebody else telling us how we should do it. We need to listen inward. I try to keep it simple, and I still fall into the trap. I'm taking leucine and creatine now. That's really the only concession I ever made. And I did it as a medicinal answer to the problem of getting old and recovering from my stroke and seeing my muscles waste away. There was a reason I did it. I didn't do it for general health because I didn't think I could live without it. We're supposed to live without it. We're not supposed to need to live out of a pill bottle. We're only supposed to supplement those very few things that may be missing in nature because of the way we've raped the soil, the way we feed our animals, the way we farm our animals. The fact that the real animals that we ate, we hunted to extinction, like the mastodons. We can only blame ourselves, but it's a natural order, this order of new species and extinction. And we had to try to make the best with what's left. And what do we got left now? We got chicken quesadillas from El Pollo Loco. The best advice I can give anybody, if they're listening, even listening to my advice, is we have to get back to the simple basics. I think we know now that a meat-heavy diet is appropriate for a number of reasons, and there's evidence of that. We don't get as many cravings. Cravings, if you analyze why you get them, and that's where I live, trying to figure out why. Cravings are your body screaming at you to go on a hunt for something you ran out of. When you're sitting on the side of the highway in your car and it's dead and it's 100 degrees outside and you don't know what you're going to do, you are going to have a craving for gasoline. You don't normally run around with a craving for gasoline, do you? When you go into the gas station and fill up your gas tank, you don't leave the gas station saying, God, that was good, but I need more gasoline. That's what dietary cravings are. Your body has run out of a certain fuel or nutrient that it can't live without. It needs it. And the mechanism by which it compels you to go on the hunt for it and stuff everything in sight in your mouth until you find it is the craving. Addiction is just the perpetual shortage of a particular craving, because the addiction is nothing more than the body learning over time that, well, I needed to compel you to hunt this today, and I'm probably going to need to compel you to hunt this tomorrow because we perpetually need more of it. So let's just ramp up the dopamine when this particular nutrient runs out and you have a craving. And for most of us, it's sugar. Then the psychology and the physiology of cravings get hijacked by the food companies. And they learn how to chemically simulate these cravings so that they can cause them in you just by eating their food. You'll start a dose. The cocaine dealer on the corner that gives you the first bag for free gets you hooked. So we've gotten too smart for our own good. We've learned how to manipulate the psychology of the body's natural response to impel you to go hunt for something that you're critically short of. And it doesn't know where it's going to find that, so it basically drives you to eat everything. And that's what happens. We binge and we gorge in the search of one molecule, one particular nutrient, and don't know why. I think carnivore is the best diet to keep that at bay because the cravings go away. That's the evidence. Okay, you need some evidence. How do I know it works? Well, I don't live in a sugar bowl anymore. But instead of reinforcing these basics, like I try to do every morning, bringing people back down to earth, stop the noise. Stop thinking you're doing it wrong and everybody else has found the magic answer and you're missing the boat, because that's the natural tendency. Trying every new fad, trying every new supplement, trying every wonder drug, and sponsored by, and just do it out most of the time. You might need some of it in special cases like me, but have a reason for it. I don't recommend that anybody take notes when Kilty's guest this morning rattled off for a full 5 minutes exactly what her day looks like and all the different timings of the different foods and the different supplements and the different drinks and the amounts of water and all that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with her, and I'm hoping she has a reason for virtually everything that she's done, but that doesn't mean you or I should do it, and we should not be putting it out there to other people that are trying to do this as a recommendation. We need to have a disclaimer like I do, because I don't want people to just take my word for something. I want you to understand my reasoning, why I do it, and if you're just a bald-headed 78-year-old man like me that had a stroke and recovering and your muscles are wasting away, and maybe it'll help you too, or maybe there's some other reason. But if I say I take creatine, I'm not saying everybody should. I'm saying if you think it makes sense outside of the bodybuilding community, which is where it really makes sense, but I don't want to be a bodybuilder. That's not my goal. My goal isn't to go and do bodybuilding competitions, rip myself down to 3% body fat. I have a different reason. If you think that's fine, I'll do it. Now, maybe I shouldn't talk about this stuff. Maybe I shouldn't talk about this stuff. Maybe I'm doing more harm than good by steering people to these things. But what the hell can I talk about? If I can't talk about what I'm doing, and I don't want to be so presumptuous as to recommend that you start buying all this crap and taking all this crap, which may hurt you, may help you. I don't know. Don't know you. Your doctor can't even tell you what you need. They're consistently prescribing harmful and deadly stuff for you. Who am I to prescribe for you? So I try to bring it back. And it's been getting out of hand lately. And it's been coming home to me more and more. And the more I watch these other channels, and the more because I'm bored. I got nothing to do. I can't go out. I heard her say today, I walk 20,000 steps a day because walking long distance is the most important thing that you can do for yourself. And blah, 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 blah. And I sat down and I said, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sweetie. I can't walk from one end of the room to the other. I guess I better give up now, dig a hole, climb in, and pull the dirt over me. Because I can't be like you. Your advice only makes me feel bad. Is that what we should be doing on YouTube? We all take it personally. I used to be able to do that. But I can't do that now. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that again. What happens when something devastates your life? Yeah, you get a little bitter. Me, I've been trying to make the best of it. I've been trying to use Carnivore to show that you were wrong, Doc. You were wrong. And the advice you gave me probably would have killed me. You won't admit that you're wrong. I'm going to prove that you were wrong by just living. And that's how I come at this. But like any of us that have had setbacks, you know that none of us are supermen. We can't help but sinking or feeling a little down now and then, a little sorry for ourselves. So I try to be the example of somebody who's not doing that. And that's the best I can do. But I got to tell you guys, life as I knew it is over for me. And which makes me back to the beginning of what I started this talk. Wake up every morning and say, do I want to continue to do this? And my answer would be, only if I have something of value to offer. And I don't have something of value for most people. I seem to only for very few. And that's been enough for me to hang on all this time, especially since I had this stroke. I don't like the direction that ketovore, don't like the direction that the YouTube is going. I don't like the direction that the censorship is going, that the propaganda and the food companies and the drug companies are directing their minions in the tech industries to shadow ban us. I don't like the direction, the fact that I lose subscribers every day, not gain them anymore. I don't like the direction that where I used to get 50,000 views on some videos, I now struggle to get to 1,000 because it's not being pushed out by YouTube. I don't like the fact that I have to compete with 50 other brand new carnivore YouTubes who come on, and people can only watch so much, so our audience is being divided up so much. The fact that there's really so little to say to the people who've been at it for a while, that it seems like if you don't address most of your message to the newer people, which is really where it belongs, you don't have a reason for doing this. Just to say the same old thing. So I've been shying away from actually making videos, because in order to make videos, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of physical work due for me, especially in the kitchen. A lot of editing, a lot of time, and no money. And I don't view the money as something that I have to have. But when I don't get paid for a lot of work, I view it as an insult and a lack of realization of the value of my time, which is the one thing that I've always thought had value. Some of my other customers think my time has value, and luckily so. So I can afford to indulge myself in this non-paying hobby. It tears me up to have to say, buy me a coffee, but it's the only way I know that people actually value. Because you tell somebody, I appreciate it, that is not something of value after a while. I'm sorry, it's very nice of you, and I believe it. But this is a world where people pay for things when they get them. I showed a Sam's Club delivery person I valued the fact that he drove my order of frozen fish to my house, and I put a $10 bill in his hand. He's not going to be happy with a thank you, no matter how sincere and heartfelt my thank you is. And yet, none of us can make a living on buy me a coffees. I thought about, well, maybe I should just separate the wheat from the chaff. Maybe I should find out who really is gaining something from me, and who feels like maybe if I went away, that wouldn't be good for them. Maybe they rely on me for a little moral support, a little good information, a little hand reaching up and grabbing their ankle and pulling them back down to earth once in a while, pointing out the nonsense. Not everybody has the same bullshit detector that I have. I thought about, well, why don't you do what the other people do? Why don't you do what Ken Berry does? Set up a private community, charge $10, $20, $30 a month for it, and get it off of YouTube. And just use YouTube as a sales tool to get people to buy into your private community. Kilt's doing that now. Everybody's doing it. Because everybody's realizing that YouTube is working against us. All the same time they're patting us on the back and smiling as they stick the knife in our back and saying, we're here to help you. It doesn't work that way. Nobody wants to feel used. Peter wants me to pin the buy me a coffee link. All right, Peter, but I'm not going to do it joyously. I'm just going to do it. If anybody feels like it, that's fine. And I really do appreciate this. You have no idea what that means to me. That, believe it or not, that means to somebody just goes out of the way and says, here's $5 for a coffee. Buy yourself a coffee. To me, that is the most meaningful demonstration of the fact that what I do here every morning has at least some value to you. Because that's the way we express value in our society. I didn't invent that. I have to play that same game. I have to pay the guy that does the work for me, even if it was bad work. A donation is not a requirement. It's a gesture. And I can't think of a better way to do it. Thanks for the suggestion, Peter. Now, I haven't interacted with any of you at all today yet. I have been going on like this, and I feel better. I feel better. The little words aren't starting to swim around on the screen. I did wear these glasses today. They're not as strong as my other glasses. And I was wearing my other glasses yesterday, and I had to keep leaning up to read. I got tired. You know, sometimes your eyes get tired, and you got to kind of go out of focus on you. It's a little scary is what happens. And then you get a little brain fog, and you say, what happened? Did I have another stroke? Well, evidently I didn't, because it took me about 5-10 minutes to get over that. And everything after that was normal. I felt great after I took a nap and realized and decided I hadn't had enough sleep yesterday. So I have to start taking maybe better care of myself instead of worrying about all my friends so much. One more thing, and I'll interact with you a little bit. And if I have to run over today, that's fine, because I'm feeling great. But I put on these glasses this morning, and they're not as strong. And I can read the computer screen. The problem with my other glasses is not that they're not strong enough, is that, and that's good news, is that my eyes have actually gotten better. I need, I think, less prescription to focus. And when I take my glasses off and look at the letters, they're, without the glasses, they're sharp and easily readable. So you say, well, why the hell are you wearing the glasses, Mitch? And I've told you this story before. I'm wearing the glasses because I have both astigmatism and prism problems. And astigmatism is a misshapen eyeball that causes you see double vision, and prism is one eye is up and one eye is down, and it causes you to see double vision. So I see 3 of each very sharp letter superimposed all over each other, and I can't read it. But I can see that they're not out of focus. Those problems became very evident to me in trying to find goggles I could wear when I flew my drones, because everything was always double images, and I had to finally have corrective lenses fit in the goggles themselves, or be able to wear corrective glasses inside the goggles to bring all those different images together. Terrible. But I can actually read the screen better with these weaker glasses, because they have the same amount of prism and astigmatism correction as my newer glasses. So that part of it brings all the letters to the same place, so they all appear as one letter. Jem. What a sweetheart. Mitch, here because we love you and this community. Thank you. Thank you, Jem. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Somebody did buy me a coffee. I heard the thing go off earlier. I don't like to really dwell on that. But I want to acknowledge them. Wow, you guys, holy cow! Maybe I should pontificate more often. Barry Simon bought me 5 coffees. CIO, vacations are necessary. Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about coming on here this morning and just say, listen, guys, I love you all. I just need about a week off. But, you know, I know what would happen to me. It sounds great it sounds great in advance, you know. Tomorrow morning, I'd be here twiddling my thumb saying, why the hell aren't I on, Morning Coffee with Mitch? So I didn't do that. I don't want to quit. Even though a little temper tantrum me once in a while wants me to take my football and go home, I don't want to do that. So here I am. But sometimes this is my psychiatrist's couch. The best psychologist and the best psychiatrist basically keeps his mouth shut and just lets you let it out. And this is very cathartic and very, very therapeutic for me to talk about my thoughts, and in the hope that maybe some of you have noticed exactly the same thing, but haven't expressed it yet. Maybe the absurdity of what I pointed out maybe answered some questions for you, like the burning question of this morning. Do I really need to do all that shit that woman does every day from morning to night to be healthy on carnivore? Is that what she's telling me? And if I made that sound a little absurd to you, then that's been valuable. Maybe. Link Cloud, $10 super sticker. Cute little alligator. Oh, man, I like that. Look at that. Little alligator sticking his thumb up. Adorable. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let me get back to the coffee. Barry, Simon. Wow, people are buying coffees. I must have struck a chord here this morning. I didn't do this on purpose to generate coffees. Seriously, but you got the message anyway, how important, how much they mean to me. Let's see, Barry Simon, $25. Thank you, Barry, so much. Jerry Voitish from me a coffee says, thank you. Trucking Carnivore, have a coffee on me. Marla Kelly, I support and love you, Mitch. Thank you so much. Peter bought me 5 coffees. Peter must be selling some good furniture there. Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. That's more than generous of you, man. You didn't have to do that. Please accept a small token of sincere appreciation for everything you do to help us. Thank you. I know you mean that too, so I really appreciate that. And Dad's lucky. What the hell? Did you make a mistake? If this was a mistake, I want you to email me, and I can go in there and reverse it. If it wasn't a mistake, it's humbling. Dad's lucky. Didn't even put a message in there. Bought me 40 coffees this morning. 40. You do the math. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Thank you. Thank you so much. And if it was a mistake, if you hit the wrong button, please let me know. And if it wasn't, I'm humbled. Thank you so much. Brian, BW, Brian Mac, BMac, have some coffee on me. Bought me 3 coffees. Thank you so much. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, guys. It brings overwhelming. Lynn Klaus says, cheer up, you need a vacation. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. I don't know what I do on a vacation. In one respect, my life is a vacation. And it's not bad. I don't have a bad life. I'm not complaining. I don't like the direction I see things going in. Not that our direction is bad. Our direction is fixing the worst direction that we had been going in, all of us. But I guess I have to keep hammering home my message in trying to keep it simple. Trying to I know we can't live in caves anymore and grab a stick and go out and chase big hairy mastodons. I know we can't do that. But our cellular chemistry and our genetics, they don't know that we can't do that. Because that's what they're expecting. And the best we can do is use what brain power we have to take whatever mastodon-like substances might be available in our current culture and society and figure out how to most closely equate putting the food into our body that makes our cells think that we went out, chased down that mastodon, killed it with a stick, and brought the meat home. And then our cells would truly be happy. That's a tough job these days, because you're not finding that mastodon in a 7-Eleven on the corner. Convenient. And we like our conveniences, don't we? And when you go to the gym, think about it this way. When you go to the gym and you work out and you run on the track, what do your cells think you're doing? If they could actually think at that level. What do you suppose your cells think is going on? They think you're chasing that big mastodon. And when the nourishment gets into the cells and starts to get through all the chemical pathways in the cells, your cells really don't know where that came from. It's been broken down, macerated, chewed up, enzymed to hell before it got to them. And if it was even possible, it will resemble the same end product that came from the mastodon being the original source of the food. Or even the survival food that your ancestors had to eat. The plant food and the fruit and things like that, that eventually ended up as acetyl-CoA in the electron transport chain and were converted to ATP. The end result is going to be the same. It's what damage was done to the machinery on the way through. So as far as our cellular chemistry goes, we are still out chasing and hunting mastodons. Take the easy road, my friend. Just get as close as you can to it, and you don't have to work so hard to fool yourselves into believing they're getting the right stuff, and that's meat. And that's the message. Is so simple. When I first started this channel, I distilled it down to 2 words: eat meat. Oh my God. I'm still just bowled over by the coffee thing here. Wow, wow, wow. And you're still doing it. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Holy mackerel. Rita May, you definitely add value to those of us who want to keep it real. Dietary fat makes me happy. Rita, that's ironic, you know. I mean, that's not a usual cause of happiness when you think it is for us. But if a man on the street came up to you and says, "Hi there, Rita, I'm taking a survey about what makes people most happy." What makes you most happy, Rita? Well, I like to eat dietary fat. That's probably the most unlikely answer you might ever hear in your life, but I love it. I love it. And thank you. Thank you. 5 coffees. Thank you very, very, very much. And Jane, thank you, Jane. You're always there for me. Thanks for showing up, Mitch, and bringing your true self to the table as usual. Oh, I can't be in a way. I can't act. I can't be an actor. I'm a terrible actor. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jane. And Kevin Decker, thanks for all you do, he says. Thank you, Kevin. Martin, my buddy Martin Nowinski. Thank you, Martin. You keep me on a straight and narrow. I'm only 1 day younger than you, and you give me, what does that say? Let me look at that. You give me hope and have a decent end of life season. Thank you. Thank you, Martin. 1 day, huh? You're 1 day younger than me? 1 day? Your birthday is May the 8th, 1947? Holy cow. How does that happen? Then I can say to you, Martin, like I do to most young people, you're just a baby. Just a baby. That's what I say to everybody who's even 5 minutes younger than me. You're just a baby. If I had a twin sister or brother, they'd be the baby. So that's funny. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Very generous of you all. All right, I haven't said a word. Do you have one more little story to tell? I know we're coming up on 8 o'clock, but I don't care. If you want to hang around a little while longer, I will too. I'm feeling great this morning, a lot of energy, going strong. I got a good night's sleep. Wow. I only woke up once last night at about 4 o'clock in the morning, which means that I had gotten already at least 6 hours of sleep. And I managed to stay in bed until almost 6 o'clock. I decided I'm going to try that for a couple of days. I gotta not force myself out of bed earlier than I want to get up. I know I kind of enjoyed watching Kelsey and all, but it's too hard on me right now. I need to sleep until I hopefully wake up naturally. And in order to do that, I need to stay up later. I got to stop this going to bed at 8 o'clock at night, 8:30. So last night I stayed up till 10:30, and it worked. Because, yes, it's the same amount of sleep, but the timing of sunlight and awakening is thrown off even further as you go to bed earlier and earlier, because it means you're up in the dark for that much longer and your body doesn't get the cues that it is indeed morning. So I'm going to try to fix it. And I know this is conscious interference, but I have to fix it so that perhaps my awakening time coincides closer to the time the sun actually comes up. That'll be easier to do when daylight savings time goes away. That's why I don't like daylight savings time, because the sun comes up too late. At my age, don't need to go out and play after school, not worried about it getting dark. Proud American this morning was one of the first ones in. He said, Mike Seeley's were both here. Thank you, guys. Said, the late thumbnail had me worried. And I want to tell you this story about why there was no thumbnail up there until this morning. And it's not my fault. Well, it is my fault indirectly, but it's not that I didn't think to do it yesterday, because I did. Alia, who I come to find out was sick yesterday and isn't feeling good today, that trooper that she is, was there this morning and told me she was going to bed immediately after that. Why is everybody so sick? Kelsey got sick. Ollie got sick. The guy who painted my house. The guy that I finally had to wait to get over his kidney stones. The guy who delayed my paint job half finished for 3 months while he fooled around with these kidney stones. Got the house completely painted and had one thing left to do. Just one stupid thing. He had to build little wooden screen things to cover up the holes that go under my house, so the animals don't get in there. One thing. Now they got plywood boarded over them with bricks sticking up against them. But one thing he had left to do, he had another, 3-4 hours work tops. Going to finish the job. I was going to say, yay, yay. Hey, I got a job finished. Somebody I hired to do something actually finished the job. Calls me on the phone. You're not going to believe what happened, Mitch. What happened? I broke my wrist. I'm in a cast. I can't build those things for you. I'm going to try to get my brother to do it. He's a busy guy, though. I don't know when he can. And I heard that a week ago. And that was... The plumber that did my house, it took a year because he kept getting kidney problems and getting sick and couldn't crawl around under the house, and I couldn't find anybody else to finish it. Nobody wants to do that. It's a curse. I'm living in a curse. Honest to God, don't come work for me here. You will get sick or get killed or even worse. Everybody everybody who comes to work for me here in my house, for some reason, I don't think it's me that's cursed. I've had people work for me all my life who didn't get sick, but everybody who comes here to work on my silly little house somehow gets some kind of medical catastrophe. He did a great paint job, though. The house looks good. The house looks good. So I showed it off in that little walking video my last time. Being ever so humble, it looks good. But anyway, Alia, back to the story. Alia, during Kiltz's stream yesterday morning, emailed me, Mitch, can you tell me how you got rid of those rankings, those purple number ones, number twos, things like that? I can't find it. Sure, I'll tell you, it's easy. Not easy to find. It takes, the treasure hunt to find the setting. But I'll show you. She says, well, do you have WhatsApp? I said, yeah. She said, I'll call you. Okay, so I wait around for a while and get no call. So I decided I have when I talk to Kiltz, when we sit down and have a video chat, we actually use StreamYard. It's not broadcast, it's not recorded, but we use the infrastructure to talk to each other. We have it, we know how to use it. So I sent, and it has a dedicated link. We use the same one every time. So I sent Alia's StreamYard link. I sent Kiltz's StreamYard link to Alia. I said, why don't we do this? It's better. I can do it on my computer, and I can actually share my screen and walk you through, show you where I found this setting, so you know where to find it. Okay, I'll call you. That was in the morning. So I anticipated Alia's call all day long, and I didn't want to be unavailable for her. You ever have somebody say, I'll get back to you, and you make yourself available to them, and they never get back to you? Well, that went on all day. I was afraid to go to the bathroom unless I missed her email saying, okay, I'm in the StreamYard thing. Right up at the time I went to bed, I kept looking at the phone for her message saying, because when I tell somebody I want to help them, I create an obligation for myself. That I'm compelled to come through on. Or else I become ashamed of myself if I let anybody down. For anything. You talk about a personality flaw, a crippling one, to put your to be so reliable 100% of the time that you never disappoint anybody, all the while you're being disappointed every minute of every day by everybody else, and wondering why the hell you're such an idiot for living that way. I can't help it. So I get an email from Alia this morning. Bitch, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you yesterday. I was sick in bed all day. How about not letting this out of school? And I'm not feeling good this morning, and I'm going to go right to bed after this stream. So I let myself off the hook, and I'll leave it up to Alia to email me and say, are you available to stream on? But then the pressure's not on me. At least I don't put the pressure on me. Now, Alia is one of the greatest sweethearts in the world, one of the hardest working people in the world. Kiltz's, what a find. Kiltz's so lucky to have her. And Nelson. They're both stellar human beings, and I certainly would never blame any of this on Alia. But the fact that she, also was considerate enough to me to even think I might have been looking for her call all day was really gratifying, and kind of let me off the obligation hook. So ball's in her court. Be happy to do it anytime, Alia. It's not that complicated, but it is a treasure hunt. Believe me, YouTube settings. And this one is even worse, because the only place on all of YouTube, in all of your back-end stuff, that you will ever find this setting will be in a pending live stream. That's the key. You'll never find it in a live stream that's already happened. It's too late. It has to be set at the time you create the initial live stream. So I go in there yesterday, and I want to be able to show her how I did it, because it was monumental to find this setting. How you did it. How you turned off those annoying purple things that plague every live stream chat. Number one. I said, well, I have to create tomorrow morning's live stream early, because there's no other way I can show all you where the setting is. So yesterday morning at about 11 o'clock, I created this morning's live stream. But I said to myself, I said, what? I said myself, it's Mitch. You're going to really confuse people if you make it public at 11 o'clock in the morning. They're going to say, why the hell is Mitch posting tomorrow's live stream at 11 o'clock? So, I fix that. I'll make it unlisted. It'll still work the same as far as my need for demonstration, but it'll be unlisted and nobody will see it. So I made it unlisted. And one thing another, the day went on, and the fact that I made that unlisted faded into unimportance in my mind, and I went to bed knowing that I had done my job and created my morning live stream, and it's there, and anybody that wanted to pre-chat could pre-chat, and attaboy. Well, I got up this morning, didn't think twice about it, got to the computer, started to set up the live stream, pulled up on my screen over there the YouTube video where I monitor the stream itself, and lo and behold, in the list of available live streams, there was no Wednesday live stream. I said, where is it? Didn't dawn on me that it was unlisted, in which case it wouldn't show up in the list of live streams. And then it hit me. So I went back in, and this was about, half an hour before the show. And I went in and I changed it from unlisted to public. And that's when everybody got to see it finally, about half an hour. And I think that's the latest I have ever gone before a live stream, before it actually became available. And then what do I see? The first things in the chat was, I wondered where you were. I kept finding you. It kept coming back. Oh, there it is finally. Well, I'll try not to do that again. Sorry, guys. Peter says, your loyal Mitchfits are asking if you can please permanently pin that Buy Me a Coffee link on top of the chat in the future so they can support you more easily. Well, I'd love to do that. And yes, I can do it, Peter. Unfortunately, and I don't know why I care about this stuff, but I do. I don't want to look that mercenary. That's the thing about a gift. You have to, it's amazing about a gift. There's a reason people give gifts. It's a token of appreciation. Or they begrudgingly give a gift because you have a birthday or something, and they're your employee and they know they better keep you happy, or bad things might happen. I don't want people to give me gifts because of that. Not extortionary type gifts, but I like applause. I don't mind a round of applause or a cup of coffee. But if I put that up there, I know that in a lot of people's minds, they're going to see that at the top of every chat and say, that's the only thing Mitch is all about. All he cares about is people giving him money. That isn't worth it to me. If one person thinks that, it bothers me. The Buy Me a Coffee link is in the description of every video. All you got to do is go look down in the description. If you're on a cell phone, just open the description. There it is. Click the link. You can do it. There's no reason people can't find that if they want to. And I want them to buy me a coffee when they do, because they want to. That's when it becomes meaningful. I don't want to guilt people into it or shame people into it or make people say, if I don't buy them a coffee, I'm going to look like a real cheap. No, that's not the purpose of it. And that's not what makes those things meaningful to me. So I'll put it up there once in a while. But as a permanent, everyday morning coffee with Mitch live stream fixture, having a buy me a coffee statement show up first thing at the top of the chat, no, I would be ashamed to do that, because that's not what I'm all about. I'm really not. And even if everybody buys me coffees, you have to know, it's still a token. It's still a token show of appreciation, and pretty well meaningless in the overall monetary scheme in life that I have in supporting myself, which is getting more and more expensive every day. And thank God. And I say God, and I use the word God with my own meaning, not maybe your meaning, but been cold on that one. If you don't believe in God, Mitch, how come you say thank God? Vernacular. I do believe in the concept of God. I might not believe in your God. That's the difference. You got to allow me that much in this world. But thank God, I can make a living, even at my age, and probably will still be able to make a living, a good living, if I want to work that hard till the day I die, with some of the talents and knowledge that I have. So I don't need people to throw a benefit for me. I'm not one of these people that's coming on here like so many people do with such a sad story and a GoFundMe link to follow it. That's not me. I'm a proud man. I've never really asked anybody for anything. In my life, I've always been the guy who the other people came and asked. And the help came from me, not toward me. It doesn't stop me from getting screwed over by the people I helped, but that's life. But my conscience has always been clear, and I've always slept like a baby. I never had anything as far as ruining people's lives or taking advantage of people. Never had anything to feel guilty of or be ashamed of. Oh wow! This is a new record today, folks. I've been talking nonstop for 1 hour and 17 minutes, and let's analyze. Let's go over the cliff notes here. Has he really said anything? I hope so. I hope so. The overriding message from this is, it always is. It's the overriding message of my whole channel, my whole life, basically, is that don't sweat the small stuff. That's why this business about Tylenol and autism, I don't think is really what we need to be focusing on in this world right now. Because you can't change it. You're not going to change it. All you're going to do is create a controversy that's going to create division. It's going to unleash a new avalanche of propaganda from the makers of Tylenol and acetaminophen. More hatred towards the government, towards Robert Kennedy and Donald Trump, who, believe you me, have already got enough hatred directed at them by every vegan and liberal on the planet. and Jimmy Kimmel. What are you accomplishing? What can you possibly change that will not be challenged in the courts and held up until long after Mr. Trump, who I admire, you are gone, and have been replaced by another Democratic liberal administration because you're giving them more reasons to hate you that aren't important reasons. That's politics. That's why we can always count on having the other side take over, because their propaganda turns out to be much more meaningful than our propaganda. You can't count on anything. So you got 2 years. You don't have 4 years. You got 2 years and maybe a year and a half, because you all got to start campaigning before the midterms. So you got a year and a half, and you've blown half of that already. And I'm still waiting for the no tax on Social Security promise that I was given, because that's the one that means something to me, and I'm still had to pay tax on my Social Security right now as it stands. I see little teasers about it, but I don't know. I don't see it happening. I still see another government convoluted requiring me to hire a team of accountants to figure out just how much of my Social Security that I earned you're going to take back to fund your state dinner. So believe me, I may be a Republican, but I am not happy with the way our government runs itself, especially with the pomp and circumstance. As far as I'm concerned, every government agency should have its office in some old dusty basement using old worn-out World War II office furniture with a minimum staff and budget to do the people's business. Where the hell do we come off building these palaces and courtrooms and monuments and government businesses that just make these people who we elect to serve us feel like there are rulers and kings? That has been the problem. That's also the problem with the church. I won't go there. But why do they need all that pomp and circumstance and gold lame fabrics to worship their version of God? They should be humble. They should be more concerned about making sure their congregations and the people that rely on them have what they need, not that they are living in palaces, driving around in armored limousines. We are so screwed up. So screwed up. And you don't see any of that kind of behavior in the animal kingdom. That's a whole nother rant for another day. You don't have time for that one today. Yeah, and everybody's been... I'm going to try to read the chat during the replay, so I'm going to get all the goodness out of it, but I haven't been able to even, maybe a glance or two. Maybe even a glance or two. Peter says, I understand, but the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description of all your videos. So pinning the link to the chat isn't any different than, and makes it easier to support you. I understand, Peter. I agree. But on the days, I agree. The logic is there, but the reality is not there. Something can be logical, but doesn't play out in the real world. Many times, I have put that link in and pinned it to the chat and not gotten a single coffee. The link itself is not going to motivate anybody to buy me a coffee. You're not motivated to donate by anything like that. You're motivated to donate or help or show your appreciation at those times where something has happened that was personal or maybe meaningful to you. I don't expect people to be throwing coffee at me all the time for no reason, just because I'm a good guy. It's for those occasions when I may hit on a subject that strikes a chord with you. It resonates with you. It's one of those, gives you one of those aha moments, one of those epiphanies that are just too infrequent in our lives and are some of the most meaningful times. At that time, when I do something like that, let me know if it meant that much to you. And yeah, treat me to a cup of coffee or 40. Whatever it takes, whatever makes you feel like, that's the level of meaning that had for you, and that's how big the thank you should be. None of us are above being thanked like that. But no, Peter, I'm not going to, as a routine, and I appreciate you wanting to help, but it doesn't fit in with who I am to just keep throwing the advertisements out there. I feel guilty enough making an air fryer video. I'm a proud man. It's just not who I am. I've never begged in my life for anything. Never asked for help from anybody. I do it myself. And when I don't do it myself, I generally pay for it. So that's just me. And I'm not setting myself out on some higher moral grounds. I'm as much of a dog as the rest of them. But I just have, it's my pride. All right, I can't do it. And I thank you, and I appreciate your support and your praise, Peter. And I value you as a friend, even though you sometimes annoy me. And I probably annoy you sometimes. I think I'm stretching my welcome today, guys. I'm sure there's questions. I'll try to see the chat as I'm watching replay. This may be too painful a replay for me to watch, or it may be joyous. It may be joyous because it worked for me. Let that sink in. It worked for me. This live stream for me has had its intended or hoped for effect. It showed me how much I enjoy doing these things. And being even in the same virtual room as you guys, that I'm still in the room. It showed me an outpouring of support from you, which of course can't help but make a guy feel wanted. Kind of revalidated my own reason for doing this and gave me a chance to gripe a little bit, well, maybe more than a little, about some of the things I think are absurd and some of the directions we may be headed in that aren't productive for us and only further confuse us in our efforts to, first and foremost, do those things that are beneficial to us, but at the same time avoid those things that could be harmful. And it's usually one or the other. Very few things in this world are inert. So I'm going to play a little happy music because I'm happy now. And like I say, this hour and a half has had its intended effect. For Mitch, you all made great psychologists and psychiatrists. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening while I just let it out. Things I've been thinking and just wanted to say. And it seems like I haven't scared too many of you away, but I probably have scared some. I'm going to be taking a little time away from making videos, but the live streams I'll continue to do every day. So at least I've got a presence here. And if something really meaningful or timely and topical comes up where I think my 2 cents cannot be lived without by the world in general. I'll record and edit and post a video. But I'm going to continue to try to concentrate more and more on my recovery, moving more, getting activity more, relaxing, and trying to live in that happy space where I can say, life is pretty good. In spite of all the setbacks, life is still pretty good. It's a tough ledge to climb up on and not fall off of. But I'm going to try to live as much of my life going forward on that ledge without falling off and dropping down to the bottom again. So my friends, thanks so much for coming. Thanks so much. You made an old man feel welcome today, and for that I truly appreciate you all. Until tomorrow, I'll be back Thursday morning, the 25th September. Have a great rest of the day off. If you don't take it, it's not my fault. And eat meat.